Hello, everybody. We are back. I am back from my vacation. Thanks so much to the boys holding it down while I was gone. They were phenomenal. Nice work, guys.
Thank you.
Let's just dive into it. It has not been fun baseball. It's been really bad. The Mariners have lost 6 of their last series.
It's been bad.
It hasn't been fun. There's a lot going wrong right now, and I'm pretty fed up with it. Garrett and I have been texting, and our frustrations are at an all-time high. Thank God the All-Star break is coming up and giving us all time to kind of reset and kind of take a deep breath because
we need it.
We need it. The team needs it. We need it. And it's kind of funny, last year, this is when the Mariners were really hitting their stride.
Yeah.
Going into the All-Star break and stuff, they were middling around 500, and then they hit their stride, and, they set sails for as much as they could.
Yep.
Falling in reverse.
Yeah, this year is a little bit different. We got off to a better start. We had a nice big cushion lead in our division because our division kind of sucked. Our division's turning it around a little bit. Houston and Texas are both turning it around a bit. The Mariners have dropped quite a few games since June 18th. That's the day after our really long stretch, 55-day stretch with 52 games or something like that.
Yeah.
Where the Mariners did really well during that stretch where they didn't have many days off. Plus, Polanco was hurt during that time. And as soon as we get off of that long stretch, we have extra days off. Polanco comes back from the IL. The Mariners start sucking. And it is a complete turnaround from last year where, yeah, it was right around my birthday there, mid-June, where the Mariners finally started turning it around and moving in the right direction with their momentum. Their offense picked up, and then into July, where they got really hot. July and August is where they really did most of their damage. So, I mean, we are rolling into the All-Star break a little bit dead in the water. Let's admit that right off the bat. The Mariners are not setting sail for the playoffs at this moment. They need to add offense. That's all there really is to it. And we have to try to trust that this front office is going to go get front of the line bats, like top shelf bats this time, which they haven't done for us recently. They just always go get a mid-tier, maybe a high mid-tier bat like Teo or something like that. But, I mean, he's not here now. And Kelenick's gone and Gino's gone. We don't have the guys that we could rely on before, and now we're striking out more than ever. So our batting average is super low, right? And offense around the league is down a bit, but ours is really down. We're the worst team in batting average.
We are. The Mariners have the first place Mariners have the worst batting average in MLB. And and that's another frustrating thing about these losses, and kind of we were texting about, is that even when they win, it's not fun because our pitching staff has to pitch their ass off to hold the team, whoever we're playing against, to 0 runs, 1 run, maybe 2 runs. And our offense barely scrapes together, 2 or 3 runs. And these 1-run wins are not relaxing. They started off being fun and kind of but now it's just taxing game in and game out. Besides yesterday's game against the Padres, the 8-3 win was very nice. That was kind of a nice, relaxing win. But other than that, it's all 1-run games. You're sweating to the very last pitch. You're relying on a walk-off or, a big-time close, depending on what side of the ball you're on. And it hasn't been fun. Watching your team strike out 10 to 15 times every single game is not fun. It's not fun baseball.
Yeah, dude. Every starting pitcher leaves the Mariners game with a door prize of 10 Ks. Fucking every game, we're just handing them
career high
a basket
numbers.
of strikeouts. Here's a backwards one. Here's a couple swinging ones. We're just gonna hand you these before the game even starts. Dude, it's terrible. So something's got to change. Cal Raleigh did end up having a quote about hey, it's on us, the players. We're not putting the ball in play when it matters. We're not hitting the ball. Everyone can tell us everything they want, but we have to go up there and hit the ball, kind of a quote, right? So At least Cal is putting it on his shoulders and his team's shoulders to maybe light a fire under his brother's butts, on the bench there and get something going, because they can't rely on the analytics team to tell them everything, right? And they can't rely on whoever's in between the analytics team and the coaching staff to tell them the right things. Like, I don't think it's whatever they're trying to do analytically isn't being translated into baseball terms for the baseball players, so they're too much in their head. Julio had a quote recently that says, like, yeah, I've been feeling just more free, more myself on the field.
He's playing like a kid, playing like the way that got him to the bigs, which is like,
well, duh.
Finally.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that.
Who shouldn't be doing that? Everyone should be doing that. What got you here? That means you're good enough to make those adjustments and play at the highest level and make those adjustments at the highest level. So
went 4 for 4 last night.
Dude,
That's
Julio.
exactly what we need out of Julio.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that's, the catalyst we need for our team as well. If he continues to do that in the next few weeks, or I guess week until the All-Star break, then that's something to look forward to in the second half, because he went ham in the second half last year. So we know what he's capable of, but he hasn't shown that he is an elite hitter at this point. Pitchers have figured out what he does wrong. They've exposed him, and it's up to him to put the ball back in their court. And he's starting to turn it around. Hopefully he can be more consistent and put the ball in the air with authority more. More homers, more doubles recently. Balls in the gap, over the fence. That's what we need to see from Julio. Because his average wasn't that bad, but his slugging and on base was low. His OPS was low. And
Slug is exactly what we need out of him. But if he can make that adjustment, that's Julio.
While playing Gold
That's
Glove
the Julio
center
we're going to
field.
see for years and years and years.
Yeah.
But, the average wasn't, like you said, it wasn't
It was like
bad.
245.
It wasn't great. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
There's an issue that I kind of had with Julio, and this happened a little bit ago, a couple weeks now, like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, whatever. Julio came up with the game on the line, runners at second and third, bottom of the ninth, down by 1. All we need is a base hit. A base hit wins the game, right? Anything, and what does he do on the very first pitch? Swings out of his damn shoes because he wants to put it in the seat.
Looking at the sky, just
And-
pulling his head off the ball.
And that shows that right there, point blank, that is a maturity issue.
Yep.
To be in that situation and to go, oh, I'm going to be the star. I'm going to put this in the seats. No, put the ball in play and win the game for your team.
You think Ronald Acuna Jr., Mookie Betts are thinking about putting one in the seats? No. They're thinking about putting their best swing on the ball, putting the barrel on the ball, relying on their speed and their prowess to get the ball done. Do what you can with the pitch you're given. Like, use the hand you're dealt to win the battle. You can't just be swinging out of your shoes like you've been dealt pocket kings. Like, come on, bro.
I think it has a little bit to do with Scott as well in his ear. Like, this is your big moment, Julio, because that's what he loves to do. He's like, I'm going to put a rookie in to try and walk this one off because I want this big hero moment. And it never works out that way. So I can only imagine he's in there like, swing hard, dude. Not like swing well.
Yeah.
Literally just put the ball in play. I was so infuriated with Julio watching that first pitch, just him swinging out of his shoes. And I'm not saying Julio's a selfish player, but that swing right there, that particular moment, that is a selfish-ass swing.
Yeah, I kind of found where this is. So I just want to recap a tiny bit. We lost the series to the Twins after winning the first game. Totally sucks. Our notes are all like hard to listen to, hard to watch, hard to talk about.
Yeah.
Castillo lost the last game versus Twins, and then they had a day off Monday where they lost ground. And Tuesday, we lost 2-0 versus the Orioles. Kirby pitched a great game. Mariners could not score, and Rojas had the only 2 hits, which obviously means he got pinch hit for late in the game. But either way, let's see. Cal
Love
boosted
it.
one.
I love when that happens.
Cal boosted one foul in the 9th. He does that a lot,
He
dude.
almost had the walk off. He blasted it.
Didn't he hit it in the 3rd deck?
Yeah, he hit it.
Holy.
And he just jumped. He was just a little too quick on it, and it went foul.
That's a massive strike, foul ball strike. But yeah, then Julio came up with 2 runners in scoring position and just, K's in 4 pitches, man. And that was brutal. A brutal way to win. 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. 7 total base runners all day. All left on base. And
dude.
That's Mariners baseball.
buddy.
And
That's
we
what we've
struck
been-
out 11 times.
You got to be the best at something.
That's what we've been sitting through for weeks now. It has just been, and I cannot thank God for the cushion the Mariners gave themselves early on, because if we didn't have that, 7.5 game lead in the division and the 10 games over 500, we would be in the shitter right now if we didn't already start with that cushion.
Yeah.
Did it start when we played in Miami, lost that series, then lost another series to the Rays, and then just
Yep.
Just
then it's
shitting
the
the
Twins,
rest
the
of the way, up
Orioles, the
until
Blue
now.
Jays.
The Miami series was the start of this downfall.
That sucked.
Yeah, because just going off top here, Miami, Orioles, Jays,
It was Miami, Twins, Orioles, Jays.
We played
Rays.
Yeah, we played
Rays,
the
the Rays in there. Yeah, I'm
Just-
trying to bring up the schedule here, but it's been bad since June 18th. That's when everything turned around. And I swear it's because fucking Polanco came back from the IL and it changed the whole entire energy of our team. Bliss hardly played. Dylan Moore is actually a difference maker on this team because our offense is so bad. And he has strengths. He has one of the most elite chase rates or chase percentile ranks. He doesn't chase a lot is what I'm trying to say. He works counts really well. He can take a walk, and he's a great fastball hitter, like an elite fastball hitter, like they pointed out on MLB TV when he was there earlier this year. Like, the dude makes a difference when he's on the field. He steals bases. He works a count in very big situations and keeps us in the game, turns around the energy of the game. In one of the Blue Jays games, Zach Pop was pitching. There's 2 outs late in the game. He works a walk, and Pop falls apart. He gets 2 outs. Dylan Moore works a long at bat, and then Rojas walks. I think it was JP after that. We had 3 walks in a row. He walked the bases loaded and gave us an opportunity to score. And Dylan Moore has been a difference maker. Without him on the field, without Bliss on the field, our team is flat energy-wise. Polanco sucks to watch right now.
You could argue Polanco is a big difference maker.
No,
I mean, he is.
He
It's
very
not-
much
It's
is.
not a good difference,
Nope.
I
but
think
he is a big difference maker for sure.
maybe even a bigger difference in the other direction. It's terrible,
Yeah.
man.
It is very bad.
Instead of a marginally good thing that Dylan Moore, everything he does leads to something good, right? Unless he strikes out. But Polanco, pretty much everything he does looks bad, feels bad, is bad. What is going on? Why do we even have him on our roster? Why is he starting today again? Why?
You brought it up. I think it was one of the episodes you weren't on, but Matt was talking about how Colton Wong is better than Jorge Polanco.
Yeah.
And that's nuts.
Yeah.
Well, Jorge Polanco might not hit the ball very well.
Okay.
He might not field very well.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't throw particularly accurate.
Sure.
He's not very fast.
Mm.
But, on the other hand, there's nothing. So
He can bat switch.
He's a switch hitter.
He's a
No,
switch
no, no,
hitter.
no, no. He's not a switch hitter. He's
Oh?
a switch batter.
Oh, switch
Well, you
batter.
Can't hit from either side of the plate.
Yeah.
He can stand on either side.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good at going up there and striking out from both sides. That's for sure. Oh, man. So we have to do something about Polanco immediately.
Well, and what drives me crazy is we already have the replacement. It's not like we need to trade and find someone. The replacement is on the roster right now.
Yeah, just put him on the bench until we get a trade going where we get Luis Rengifo, which is a perfect switch out, a perfect replacement for him. He bats switch. He actually hits the ball. He has a good BABIP. He steals bases and plays good defense. And plays multiple positions. So why are we not gunning for Rengifo right now. He's the perfect replacement for Polanco. Like, that's not even a guy we have to give up a lot for, like, compared to the higher tier bats on the market. So Rengifo would be a perfect piece, like a medium piece for us to just put in our lineup, replace a useless player, and move on from there and add another bat. I think Rengifo is a perfect fit for what our team needs right now.
And I would just be happy with Bliss getting the playing time, at least in the meantime.
Yeah.
There's no reason why, if you have to choose between a veteran who's not getting it done and a rookie that's getting it started, like,
give him a shot.
Go with the rookie. He's made plays. He's fast. Speed doesn't slump. So just his wheels out there alone is a check in the plus column. Like, I don't know. I am starting to believe that Scott Service is purposely throwing games.
Oh boy. Now we're getting conspiratorial.
Yeah,
vibes are bad,
about
boys.
all that.
He's got ties with a gambling agency.
No.
Oh boy.
This is all bad.
And this is just my opinion.
Okay.
You won't see this on CNN, I'll tell you
You
that.
might want to use another word if you're going to be throwing out these accusations.
I sometimes ponder if Scott is actively throwing games by the decisions that he makes.
Okay.
I mean, do you know another coach that routinely punishes players for hitting the ball well in a game? I can't think of another manager that sees a player that has the only 2 hits in a ball game, or sees a player that's 3 for 4 with 2 doubles, and he goes, nah. With the game on the line, we're going to have to put him on the bench.
It does happen, but it's usually with players who are marginal and aren't like the big name, big bat players on their team. Like if Jose Ramirez is 3 for 3, he's not getting pinch hit for. But if like, I don't know, if a lesser player on the team is 3 for 3 and they're just and the matchup is better, right? They might get pinch hit for in other situations on other teams that are analytical, like say the Red Sox or something like that.
Yeah, well, Josh Rojas is one of the best players on the team.
Yeah, he has one of the best averages, some of most hits, one of the most reliable guys that can put the bat on the ball. I agree, but
And we pinch hit him.
yeah. I mean, we've done that a couple times.
I don't think Scott's purposely throwing games. I think he's making a lot of very bad decisions.
So our 2 options are illegal or incompetence. I mean, those are the only 2 options. Because
I'm going to go incompetence.
Like, and it's like, does he not have a stomach for the game? Like,
I don't know. He's been tossed like a couple times in the last couple weeks.
I think he's frustrated because he gets the calls from the top down, from the front office analytics department, kind of put it in his ear what he's supposed to do. And I don't think he has as much wiggle room as he wants to make decisions in the moment. I really think that our team is coming from the top down. All the decisions are being made behind his back, and he just goes out there and makes the move they want him to make.
I don't know. The manager of the ball club doesn't have executive
yeah,
power in
I
those
was saying
situations.
he does,
It's
but-
up to him.
Dipoto isn't calling Scott in the 8th inning and being like, hey, you got to pull Rojas here. He's got 2 hits in this game.
Yeah.
No.
Can't do it.
But
Like,
over-
that's on Scott.
I agree, but over the last few years, like, it's been trending that direction. It's leaning more that way than ever. You know what I'm saying? So even when it is Scott's decision, it's like it's already been bent and biased that way for years. So he thinks it's his decision, but he's already been influenced from the top down, from the inside out, and I don't like. He's kind of stuck in a position where he's forced to make these decisions, but he can't throw it back in their face because he doesn't have any fucking balls. That's the thing, is he needs to make a difference. If he, like, the way he talks to the media sucks, for one. I don't hear anything come out of his mouth that's useful for guys like us. All he says is things for casual fans to read and hopefully, like, not shit on our team and not on him too. He tries to defend his players. He tries to defend his decisions, but it's all just PR puff pieces.
He would be a good politician.
Yeah.
Just saying nothing to the media and just like, You know, because like you harp on that a lot.
It's all PR puff.
I agree.
So, I don't know. I'm tired of Scott. He is making bad decisions, but I think he knows he's at the end of his road with the Mariners too, and just doesn't have the right energy to fucking make the right decisions right now. He's invested in this thing, and he's pulled in all directions by the influences that be, and his players are not what he needs. Like, he wasn't given the team that he needs to go execute putting a regular lineup out there every day. Also, the lineup is irregular. We haven't had a regular lineup maybe we had a regular lineup for like a week at the earliest part of the season, but we'd never have a regular lineup. No one's set in stone.
That is a really, really good point. And baseball players are creatures of habit. Like, a guy could be unhappy that he's like hitting in the 8 spot or whatever, but if he's in the 8 spot day in and day out, he feels comfortable there, even if he wishes like, oh, you know, I'm a little bit better, I should be batting in like the 5th spot or 6th spot, something like that. That shit doesn't matter as much as just consistency. I mean, we're ball players. We know what it's like, the superstition, the routine, just the familiarity of it. And and at the max level are these Major League Baseball players who aren't even in a safe, like a set schedule on their own team. Like, it's always, I'm just randomly not going to start today, and I'm going to sit on the bench for 2.5 hours, and now I got to come up cold in the 8th inning and stuff.
4 hits, big impact in the last 2 days. I think I'm playing today. You come to the ballpark, and you're on the bench. You're like, yeah, we'll use you in maybe the 7th when they put in a lefty, or when they change their starting pitcher out, and you're sitting there all game like, but he's out there striking out all day. Okay, I guess I'll just sit here and watch. Like, what? That's so horrible, dude. But yeah, I used to be a leadoff hitter, right? Mm-mm. And when I wasn't hitting well, I knew I wasn't hitting well, but I knew I wasn't going to go down to and bounce around in the order. Mm-hmm. They were going to put me in the 9 spot because that's when I'm up first, like a 9-1-2 inning. That's like a double leadoff hitter because I have the skills to be a leadoff hitter. I'm just not hitting well right now, but I still have that same skill set and prowess, just like JP was hitting 9th before. Like, I knew where I would be in the lineup, and I was comfortable with that. And even if hitting first, it's like, yeah, I'm hitting first, I'm so good. But but I knew I would be hitting 9th if I wasn't hitting first, and it wasn't a problem because I knew what that does for our team, how we can roll over the lineup better, and how my role affects our team. And if I'm bouncing around the lineup and hitting in like the 7 spot, I don't know what I'm doing there after the big hitters hit, and I'm just somewhere in between floating there. It's not the same role. I'm not used to that. So, I mean, I think they do need to get a more consistent lineup in there where players are playing every day like JP Crawford does against lefties and righties. Josh Rojas should be doing the same thing. He should be a left-handed bat in our lineup that hits against right-handed pitchers and left-handed pitchers. Luke Raley, this was Friday. The Mariners did end up winning 2-1. But in the 8th inning, we pinch hit for Luke Raley, who had a good day. He was putting the bat on the ball all day, barrels, like warning track power. This was the day where Raley was robbed of extra bases by Varsho running headlong into the outfield wall.
That dude was a terror the whole series. You want to talk about some dude taking over a series? Dalton, their left fielder on the Blue Jays. I mean, that defense was astounding. All 3 games, making plays all over the place. That dude made a significant difference in all 3 games of that series.
Let's trade for that guy.
Sure. I really liked his defense. That was fun to watch.
Canzone just went to the IL. We have a spot for another outfielder. Let's grab Varsho or something. If we're not able to get Bichette or Guerrero from the Blue Jays' hands, let's go get a guy like Varsho, you know? I don't know. I like him. He plays a good left field at our stadium.
Certainly did. But yeah, it was that.
Either way,
that was the game Luke Raley had the only RBIs in the game, right? It was the 2-1.
He was mashing the ball every time he was up. He was barreling it up, hitting it hard. He was the only guy doing anything well on our team. We pinch hit Mitch Haniger.
Sure did.
And he strikes out.
Shocker.
Surprise, surprise. But Mitch Haniger versus left-handed pitchers, 152, 221, 165. And Luke Raley versus left-handed pitchers, 222, 263, 333. What are we doing? Why? Mitch Haniger's worse against left-handed pitchers than Luke Raley, and he's hit the ball hard 3 times today.
Where's that analytics
What
department?
are we doing? That's not good. Like
Illegal or incompetence?
You gotta stop accusing him of doing
Not
illegal
accusing
things.
anyone of anything. Just speculating. This is a news of sorts.
I like when Matt gets frustrated.
after
Matt's
Friday.
usually pretty calm. You're frustrated a lot. I'm frustrated a lot. Matt holds it down, but when Matt's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Why?
After Friday,
love
the
that.
Mariners struck out 10 plus times in 10 consecutive games. All right, I'm done.
That's quite the streak.
No, don't be done. Keep it going. that's
Saturday, Dalton Varsho. Yeah, no. The Mariners lost the series to the Twins. They lost the series to the Orioles. They lost the series to the Blue Jays, and now we're playing a 2-game series against the Padres. We took Game 1 in beautiful Petco Park.
It is
You were
beautiful.
at Petco.
I was just at
How
Petco.
was Petco?
The stadium is really, really cool. I really want to go and see the Mariners play there. I was there for the Blink-182 concert, so I didn't get to see any baseball because obviously the team was away, so they could do the concert
How's
there.
the ambiance? What's the city skyline? How's the warehouse?
They play a lot of Blink-182 in that stadium.
They do.
Music was weird.
Yeah, I was there. It was just the same band.
They played
The whole-
Blink-182 the
all
whole
night.
time.
I was like, have they got anything else on this
Pretty
playlist?
brutal playlist. Yeah.
I actually really, really liked Petco Park. It is kind of got the city like view, like city view and water view. It kind of reminded me a lot of T-Mobile in that regards. They also have like really cool play areas, like even better than the Mariners have for their kids. They have like a kind of makeshift mini stadium out behind left field that the kids can play like little wiffle ball stuff on. And it's like
Sick.
a replica of the stadium on a smaller scale. I thought that was really cool. They have Jack-in-the-Box heads on the top of their foul poles as like an
What?
advertisement, but it's a big ass foul pole with good old Jack from Jack-in-the-Box at the top of it. That was kind of funny. And they're building these new like skyrise apartments right behind the stadium
Yeah.
that you can look down into the field.
You can just like walk across the what's it called? Skywalk. The what are those called?
Skywalks?
Yeah, sure. That works.
Bridges?
Yeah, bridge.
Sky bridge.
So you can walk straight from your hotel to the stadium. That's wild.
Yeah. The stadium was really cool. I was unfortunate that I couldn't stay there long enough for the Mariners to play because that would have been sick because they're there
You
right
would
now.
have still been out of
Dang.
town.
I would have
We
still
can't
been-
have that.
Yeah, you're back.
I did have to come back home eventually. Shout out San Diego. Shout out Gas Lamps District. That was pretty cool.
San Diego.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Never mind.
I think I killed a man with a trident.
Should probably lay low. It was fun though. I would go back to see the Mariners play there. It seems like a really cool stadium. And they had a lot of history in the hall, especially like in the main concourse. All the retired numbers are like little statues that they have in the main entrance. So you walk in and you just see like a statue of 51 and 44 and stuff like that are their retired numbers. And they have like a San Diego.
23. Is that Tony Gwynn's number? What, 18?
I'm not sure.
Ah.
But yeah, that's retired too. And then they have like a San Diego Hall of Fame if you walk through like the main concourse where it's not just like San Diego Padres. It's like all people in San Diego history in
Nice.
like athletics and stuff. Really cool. It was really fun. Shout out to their stadium.
Shout out to the Padres, the Mariners' sister team, who we share a spring training place
Facility.
with.
Yeah.
Facility with. Yeah.
Going back to the Mariners dropping all those series though, which they have not been swept this year. That is absolutely insane.
That is crazy.
We have not been swept.
One thing we can say.
Allergic to
Haven't been
sweeps.
swept.
Allergic to sweeps. That's the silver lining of this season. We don't get swept. We take one of 3 or one of 4 if it's a 4-game series. We split a 2-game series if it's a 2-game series. We're a splits kind of team right now.
Let's win today against the Padres.
Let's get a sweep.
Man,
Please.
what's the pitcher's name? Major?
Mazur.
That dude.
French guy.
We had that guy's number.
Major, yeah, he couldn't do shit. He was walking dudes. We were hitting them.
And they had to try and hit Logan. Good luck. All-star Logan Gilbert.
Oh, yeah, Logan Gilbert has been selected to the All-Star game. I think George Kirby should be going with him.
I kind of thought so, too.
I love Logan. George is doing his shit, though. George is one of the best pitchers in the American League, in my opinion, still.
Yeah, I think the issue was him getting touched up a couple times. That ERA was probably a little bit higher than it should be. But yeah, the strikeouts are there. The walks aren't there. You know, he doesn't walk anyone. I thought, yeah, he probably had a chance to make the All-Star team. Instead, Logan Gilbert is the only representative for the Seattle Mariners. And you can't really, I mean, maybe Logan's a snub, or maybe Kirby's a snub. Maybe Andres Munoz is a snub. I kind of heard some people talking about that.
Yeah,
but
Munoz.
realistically, the Mariners don't have all-stars right now, besides Logan, who 100% deserves it.
Yeah, no offensive player deserves to be there. No way.
No, not even a little bit. So, yeah, it is kind of sad. We only get the one representative. It is also funny that when the All-Star game was in Seattle in 2001, it was also when the 116 win Mariners happened. So there was like 11 Mariners on the All-Star roster. So I'm there at the All-Star game in 2001 and being like, well, I already see all these guys every single day. You know, like half the Mariners are there.
That's sick, though.
Yeah, it was cool.
That was cool.
Yeah, Logan, the only representative. They're in Texas this year for the All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
no one else deserves it. It was the right call for Logan.
Yeah,
And,
Logan deserves to be there. I think Munoz deserves to be there. I think he's been really, really good. His ERA is still like 1.5-ish. Like, he still strikes out a ton of dudes. He has a couple blow-ups. He hasn't maybe pitched enough innings to be considered over some other guys, but
because he had that injury too, and missed some time.
I think he deserves to be there just based on performance. But it's just All-Star game selection, man. I mean, I'm not too concerned about it. Who knows who's going to have a second half that looks like an All-Star version of themselves. Julio Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh. You know, Cal wasn't even... He's good, right? Cal has homers. He's only hitting like 200. He's kind of a Mike Zunino style. A better Mike Zunino.
A more clutch Zunino,
Way
too.
more clutch. Hits from both sides of the plate. Can hit a curveball. Like,
I was talking to some more casual fans recently, and they were like, JP and Cal didn't make the All-Star team? I'm like, well, they are good, but they pick the best players at each position in both leagues, and Cal and JP aren't the best at their position in their league.
Tell them to listen to our pod.
I know.
They'll know that
I know.
they're not doing
But I had to
All-Star.
explain to them how All-Star game works.
Yeah.
JP has been a pretty big disappointment to me this year. You know, he's still doing some things well, still working counts, you know, still has, even though he's not like a 10-year veteran, he's definitely a veteran at this point. And you see it in his at-bats. Takes very veteran at-bats. Good, just the hits just aren't coming for him this year. He's had a couple big moments. He has 2 grand slams this year, which is crazy.
And with the bases loaded, he hits like 656.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, what the hell? Who would you rather have at the plate with the bases loaded in the entire league? 'Cause
Seriously.
those numbers are insane.
Yeah, it's just the other 99% of the time when he comes up and the bases aren't loaded, he's been struggling this year. Haven't noticed any issues with his defense, really. It's fine. It's better than fine. But
He's made a couple errors, but only a couple this year. Like,
Yeah.
I know last year we were harping on his defense a little more. He was making bad throws. He wasn't in his element. But this year he's playing much better defense. His defense looks good. It's not elite like it was before, but like his offense has gotten better and his defense has gone by the wayside a tiny bit. But he's still very serviceable out there and probably better than most shortstops out there. I love having JP. He's one of the most athletic dudes on our team, and
Best
I don't
Mariner.
know how he can't steal bases. How is this dude not fast and like quick? Get a good jump, JP. Like your legs are long. Get in there, buddy. Steal a base.
Ooh.
We love you, JP.
Also,
Love JP.
I was going to say another shout out for JP. Him and his wife have just announced that they're having a baby.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congrats, JP.
And that means
fam.
dad strength JP is coming.
Because it worked so well for Ty France.
In 9 months when that baby comes out, then we'll get the dad strength.
Next year, dad strength. Maybe he'll get dad strength for the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe.
But either way, good for JP. He's best Mariner, and that's just going to make him a better person and baseball player, in my opinion. So that's what we need. All right, well, the Mariners have been bad. The silver lining is we don't get swept. We keep winning at least 1 out of the 3 games we play in a series, and we need to turn it around, which means we need to add offense, because on our team right now, we have Jorge Polanco, Mitch Haniger. Sebi Zavala got DFA'd and then
For the second time.
sent back to Tacoma again, so no other team wants him apparently.
Sebi Savala is this year's Jesus Montero.
Yep, we'll just keep picking him up outright to AAA. And, well, that's what happened. Sebi, now that Garver's hand is better, Sebi got DFA'd. We picked him up again. Victor Robles is still on our roster. He kind of does nothing. He's kind of a nobody.
He had a good game 2 days ago.
Yeah,
Yesterday?
he had a homer.
Homer.
Yeah, he
I kinda-
steals bases.
I kind of forgot about him, honestly.
He was playing center field, and I think he kept losing the ball in the sun, but he was very good at getting the other outfielders to help him out.
Nice.
I saw also Rayleigh got a start or two in center. With Julio. He was out with the quad thing, fouled a ball off his quad and missed a couple games. So it was kind of interesting seeing Rayleigh out there.
Yeah, Rayleigh had to start at first base, and he had to go out to center field because Julio got pulled out of that game.
That is
So,
some little league stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you don't see that very often at the major league level. A guy that starts the game at first base and then goes to center field.
Never,
You don't.
dude.
You're not going to see Ty France being like, "Oh, we're going to need you in center today, champ." That's not going to happen.
Right?
Ty, you're playing short. No, I'm not.
So, dude, I was a center fielder, and there was a game where I filled in for, like, the team. It was our older team that was playing after us. They only had 9 guys, and they needed a bench player. So right after our game, they asked if I wanted to play on their team, just to, like, be the bench player. And I needed to go into the game because the second baseman got slid into and, like, cleated up the arm and, like, hurt his arm, like, sprained his wrist and shit. So they were like, they needed a second baseman, but I'm left-handed. And I was like, no, I'll play second base. Like, I'm good. It's like, don't move your outfielders and do all. I was like, nope. I just grabbed my infield glove and was like, I got this. Like, I'll play second. And then the first thing that happens, a hard ground ball right at me.
That's how baseball works, man.
I got a candy hop, so I was down on it, but it like bounced right up at my waist, and it was easy to turn and throw to first. And I used to play second base when I was young too, and before they had me move to outfield, so I was used to it. I had good hands, so that was cool. I got the ground ball, but then also we ended the inning. The guy was trying to steal second. They knew that I would cover the bag because it's a right-handed hitter. They want the shortstop to stay in the hole. They want the second baseman to cover the bag on this play. Guy steals. I run over there, pivot, and like square up the bag. I backhand pick this ball and tag like all in one motion, like backhand pick, tag, and like show the umpire the ball and like flip the ball onto the mound. It was so cool, man. The left-handed second baseman coming in, and oh man, it felt so good. But
Hell yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
Scott
Ty France-
Service would have never let
Yeah,
you
that
do
would have never happened if Scott Service was your coach.
Luckily, it was summer baseball because my high school coaches would have never let that fly either. Dumbasses. I could play second base. Anyway, we have some guys on our roster that suck. Dominic Canzone just went to the IL again with an adductor strain. Is that a hip thing? I don't know.
I am not a doctor.
Pretty sure it's a hip thing. So Canzone's hurt again, which means we're going to need another outfielder. Right now we have Robles, and I mean Dylan Moore can play a little outfield. Mitch Garver, I think he's a guy who can probably stay on our roster as our backup catcher, and honestly, I want him on our bench as like a backup hitter. I don't want him in there as a DH every day. So we need to go get some players, and the first player I wanted was Luis Rengifo because he's a direct Polanco replacement and doesn't cost a lot like the other big names on the market like Luis Robert and Vlad Jr., who probably won't get traded, but like Randy Arozarena, Jazz Chisholm Jr. is being talked about left and right. He can play some second base. He can play outfield. He's fast. He can put the bat on the ball. But I think Luis Rengifo fits perfectly. Or do you guys think that too? Is that someone that you guys are interested in adding? Because I think that's a good middle-of-the-road ad for the Mariners without going to the top.
I will say I'm definitely not interested in Jazz.
Okay.
He recently, this is actually kind of interesting. MLB just did like a big player poll,
I was about to say the same thing.
and he was like one of the least liked players across the league.
He was
And-
voted one of the most overrated players.
Overrated,
was,
I
yeah.
figured, yeah.
and overrated. Also, like they're like, we don't like what's a personality thing
Yeah.
too, not just ability. But
He's he does that whole swag thing. He thinks he's a cool, he thinks he's so fucking cool. And maybe he is cool or whatever, but like he acts the part as well. Like while he's playing baseball, he acts kind of a fool, and he fits in Miami, but like that's not going to fly in Seattle.
I agree, and I do kind of like a little bit of like the braggadocious or the flexing or whatever, and obviously I'm biased because I see it all day with our Mariners, but I do like kind of the attitude that our Mariners are currently bringing, where it's enough of like celebration and stuff, but also not getting too cocky or like too over the top. I think the Mariners currently have a good balance of like, yeah, being able to pump yourself up or pump others up without being over the top with it. And I feel like Jazz Chisholm Jr. is very over the top. And I kind of don't want that attitude or that headache around the team. And when it comes down to it, all that matters is can he play? And I don't think he's really good enough to really bolster this offense in a way that we need.
I mean, his numbers compared to a lot of the numbers on our roster are good. And also, he's left-handed, which we just, Canzone just went down, like I just said. We might need another left-handed bat at some point. I do think he's an option, but I don't think he's, a top-of-the-line option. He's kind of on the lower end of what I would want, but he is someone who I think we could use. And I don't know. I don't necessarily like guys' attitudes like that just over the years, but I think that maybe the Mariners could use a little fire like that. You don't think some of our other players will get fired up if some other guy's chirping and not chirping, but in the right way, bringing an energy of we will win this. We are that good, because I don't think the Mariners have that all the time, and it might add a little bit of fire or energy that we are missing, because I think what you're saying is we kind of have a stable way of our energy isn't too crazy, right? The team is always trying to stay level-headed and within their bounds. I think that if they add a little bit of that type of energy, it can kind of just give them more room to breathe and be different and be themselves, which is something that I think they need to learn how to do better. Is dude, take the pressure off, go play baseball with your team, and feel good about it, because you guys are boys out there on the field together, and maybe that kind of energy could help glue the team together a little bit better.
And in the past, we've really appreciated the players who bring a little bit of a spark.
Yeah.
Remember when Jesse Winker fought the entire Angels and we loved it?
Mm-hmm.
Flipped off the crowd, Kenny Powers style.
Gave him the old double.
Double.
We don't get a lot of that in Seattle.
I mean, Greg Santos last night showed a little bit of emotion, which is great.
That was sick.
making his debut. Finally. We've been talking about it forever. He finally shows up. He's pitching to Jerks and Profar. Inside. Profar's like backing off the plate, like, oh, dude, don't hit me. And he's like, I'm not trying to hit you, bro.
Yeah.
And then 100, right down the middle. He's like, how about
Like,
that?
what?
What are you going to do about that?
So, pretty awesome.
It's like,
little,
see, I am
little
throwing
chirping,
strikes.
little back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, another player that we kind of liked for bringing that attitude until the ability stopped, but Caballero.
Yeah, Caballero.
we,
for sure.
we had a lot of fun with him and the way he was like kind of getting into pitchers' heads and just being an all-around nuisance. It was fun it was short-lived fun, but it was fun. Same with the Wink, but that's the thing, that's actually a good point is it can be cool for a little bit, but when does it overstay its welcome? So like with the Winker thing, and again, it does tie into their ability, but Winker had the Electric Factory quote, which was huge. Excuse me. Electric Factory quote, and then the Brawl.
Yep.
And that was really cool. We were excited about that. But then the ability fell off a cliff, and now it's not as fun anymore. Same with Cabs. He comes in. He was really exciting, messing with pitchers, really taking full advantage of the pitch clock and all that. And then the ability stops, and now it's not so cute anymore. Now it's just kind of annoying. So
I think they're both having pretty good seasons right now.
Winker definitely is.
Yeah, Winker is.
He's
on my list of
and
players
he's actually
we should
on
target.
he's going to be on the market because he's on the Nationals this year, and the Nationals are doing a whole bunch of nothing.
I mean, they're doing okay, but they're not looking to like push. So they could be sellers, but they are trying to set up for the future because their Juan Soto trade got them so much. They're like trying to build around the young pieces they got there. And Winker, his contract is not going to work out for the long run. So that is a guy that's on the market, and they might be able to move for something that they can control for more years and build their product with. So
Matt, I want to ask you, I've heard a lot of people, this discourse around the Mariners are starting to fall behind. Their lead in our division is getting smaller.
Yep.
And people are concerned that, maybe this isn't the year we go all in. What do you think about that?
It has to be. While our pitching staff is intact, it has to be. Like we can't rely on our pitching staff to be healthy like it is and be performing the way it is right now. We've been waiting for 3 years for this to come about, and any other team that has that pitching staff has to be aggressively going after offense if their offense is that bad, because most of the time it's like this team can hit, but they give up their lead late in games because their bullpen's terrible. Like, we think our bullpen has been kind of bad recently, but it's still pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Like, our pitching in general is so good that there's no reason not to add big right now this is towards the end of this window, like I've been talking about,
right,
where JP's contract expires, and we're going to want to trade Castillo after that too. So, like, right now we have to go big. Why would you not? And if they don't, it's just more of the same, and we're so trained to expect that, they're just going to find a reason not to.
Yeah. So you're saying you can't waste this group of pitchers. You have to go big.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you say to people who say that one bat or two bats isn't going to fix this offense? It's so bad.
I disagree with that. I think two bats.
Two will work.
One dude can't come in and stop the Mariners from striking out 37 times a game. I get that. But two bats? Seriously, you put one of them in the 3 slot, have another bat in like the 5 slot, something like that. That is a huge boost in the front half of your lineup.
Polanco and Haniger replacements for bats that actually do damage, like Luis Robert Jr., Randy Arozarena, Luis Rengifo, Brent Rooker. Like, any of these bats would be direct replacements for those guys in our lineup and do more damage and change the whole face of like what our lineup is capable of. And I think one bat's not going to do it. Just adding Luis Robert Jr. instead of Mitch Haniger isn't going to change the whole outlook of our team. So we have to go for more than just one hitter, Brent Rooker, I think, is a great option from Oakland. He's been hitting the shit out of the ball for 2 years now. He's kind of a DH type guy. He can play some corner outfield as well, another right-handed bat. I think Randy Arozarena is a great fit, even though he isn't the best hitter, but he has streaks. He's streaky. He's always willing to take the extra base. He can play left field all right, and I think he'd be a good fit because we need someone who has that type of, I don't know, experience. Mitch Haniger's falling off a cliff. His defense looks terrible. I would rather have Luke Raley in right field every day.
Without question.
So if we add, I don't know, we have to add like 2 good hitters and then like a guy like Luis Rengifo. Like I said, that's why I'm starting there, because that seems like a reasonable ask for the Mariners to go get a guy like that's not top shelf, and then go after a guy like, I don't know, because that replaces Polanco immediately. Then we have to replace Mitch Haniger, basically. Then you go after Luis Robert. You go after Randy Arozarena. You go after Dalton Varsho, Lane Thomas. Lane Thomas is another outfielder from Washington that's having a really nice year. Lamont Wade Jr. from San Francisco, if they keep losing, is not a bad option. I mean, he's a first baseman, but he's a left-handed guy. Michael Busch is a left-handed first baseman from the Cubs if they keep losing. J.J. Bleday has been really good for Oakland. He's an outfielder from Oakland. He's been hitting the shit out of the ball this year too, and he has a couple years of control as well for like maybe even a Canzone type replacement if he can't stay healthy. I don't know, man. We just need to do something, but we need to get 1 or 2 big bats.
Yes.
And who do you want? Luis Robert? Randy Arozarena? What do you think about those 2 guys?
I would probably take a Arozarena over Robert.
Especially with what the White Sox they're saying they're asking a big price, a lot like this
cheap.
Soto trade.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
because they already extended Robert at a value deal, he already has like a cheap deal. So for whatever team, they're going to ask a lot for him. But if you go for him and a guy like, if you wanted to go get a Michael Kopech for the bullpen too, you team them up and make a big trade that way. You're like, okay, well, let's do a big trade then. Kopech can throw 99, and with movement, he's scary sometimes, but like he's another really big add to the bullpen if you wanted to do that with the White Sox.
I'll just say one thing that I am also just as guilty of is like not wanting to like give stuff away. Like we want all the good players when we don't want to give anything up to receive them. You know what I'm saying? So the fact of the matter is that we're going to have to. We're going to have to shell prospects. We might even have to shell maybe Bryce Miller, maybe Brian Wu, which I don't necessarily want to. Maybe more so. But again, Wu is having trouble with the longevity on his arm. Mm-hmm. He's very dominant when he pitches, but his arm gets tuckered out pretty quick. And this is a kind of side note, but I've wondered if he can't keep the arm endurance up, if he becomes like a Mariano Rivera, someone that comes in as a starter and just can't get it done as a starter, or like, can go the distance like a starter can and gets reverted to the bullpen. And then that ends up being where they shine. We did it with Matt Brash. We wanted Matt Brash to be a starter when he came up. And so if that is the case, and these are all like hypotheticals, but if Wu's arm just doesn't have the stamina to be a starter, then let's trade him.
That seems like the path for him too. Like I do see what you're saying, and I agree that his path right now looks like he'll be a good bullpen arm, but I don't think he has longevity as a starter because of health reasons and arm injuries already. So Wu, I don't think we're trading Miller. I think if anyone, we would be trading Wu.
As far as trading prospects goes, we've been putting Harry Ford in the outfield a little bit, giving him reps out there, trying to show off his versatility probably, because I think they're going to sign Cal up for a while.
Let's hope.
So
honestly,
we're not going to need a Harry Ford. Maybe he's our second highest prospect. We can probably get a good good little trade going if we put Harry Ford in the mix.
Dude, I had Harry Ford. I was thinking about Vlad Jr. still. I was like, Harry Ford and Colt Emerson and some pitcher. Why not? For Vlad Jr., why not? But that's when Vlad Jr. was still more reasonable. It looks like the Blue Jays want to keep Vlad and Bo for next year and maybe trade them next year if they can't get it together because they want another shot at it. They can keep their team cohesive enough to have another shot next year if they fall out of the race this year. And then they can trade them at the deadline next year because their contracts will be up, I think, at the end of next year. So they still have time on those players, but if the Mariners have to offer them something, it's definitely Harry Ford and Colt Emerson, like our top prospects for those types of players. I wanted Vlad Jr. here. It doesn't look like he's going anywhere. I'm kind of big on just Luis Robert Jr., why not? Like, I think that's a big ad. Luis Robert Jr., Luis Rengifo, just get all the Luises in here. Like, let's make our team good.
That would actually be hilarious if, like, the Mariners, like, starting lineup had, like, 7 people all named Luis in it.
It'd be great. We trade for everyone named Luis. Well, in that situation, getting Robert Jr. and Michael Kopech, if we wanted to add that big bullpen piece and do a big prospect trade, we could DFA Mitch Haniger and Mike Baumann immediately. Add a mid-lineup power punch, high leverage bullpen arm all at the same time. It would change our team immediately, but that wouldn't work. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we have to get Rengifo and get Polanco out of here, and then go for someone like Robert or Arena. Arozarena. I like Arozarena. What do you think we could? I mean, we have a ton of prospect capital. Do you think the Rays are in it right now?
Well, so that is another thing that I've been thinking about, like, considering, is I know Dipoto is proud of filling our prospect capital back up. Because when he joined the team, our minor league system was in absolute ruins. We had nobody.
Shambles, bro.
It was bad. And Dipoto prides himself on rebuilding with these prospects, and also he has been known to wheel and deal to great success. I will not take that away from Dipoto. There has been certain trades that he has pulled off that you're like, holy shit, how did you manage that?
We got Luis Castillo mid-season. That was great.
We have fleeced the Padres multiple times.
Yeah.
We have fleeced the Reds. Dipoto can wheel and deal, but as that's one of his strengths, I also think that it's one of his weaknesses because he doesn't want to give away what he's built up.
I think
I can see it. That's what they're for.
That's what they're for, but I
Can't bank on these kids becoming major leaguers.
I agree 100%. I'm just going, like, from his perspective.
I see what you're saying.
Of like, hey, I built this core up, But that's why he also keeps moving the fucking goalposts.
Yeah.
He's like, I built this core up.
He's stuck, dude.
Yeah.
He's stuck in they identify
He's on a treadmill.
people who have skills that don't have the price tag. You know what I'm saying? That's their specialty. They find the players that look like the players with the price tag on paper and sign them. They're like, hey, he can do that? Yeah, let's get him in here and put him in our arm lab and make him throw sliders, make him throw a sweeper. Like, let's change his trajectory here. Like, they find players with the marginal things that they see on paper that they can pay half the amount. And that's a problem because they never look at the top shelf. They're like, what's as good as the top shelf without paying the premium for the name? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it just sucks, man. Like, they're never willing to go buy the top of the line thing because they think they can get something just as good, but they can't, dude. There are players who are just better. There's players who are always going to be better than those players who you find on the margins who will be good for, I don't know, they're more streaky. They're not as consistent. They have injury problems. You never know, man. You never know. So it is a problem. They need to go buy somebody.
Yeah, no, he's definitely looking at it like, there's Jack Daniels, but I'm going to get Evan Williams because I'm mixing it with ginger ale anyways.
Yep.
He's like, what do you got
gonna
there?
taste
Is
the
that
same
is
going
that-
down.
Is that Gentleman's Jack? Okay, yeah, I'll take the R&R on the bottom, please. Yeah.
It's like, oh, nice bottle. Yeah, Evan, please. Well whiskey. No, but for real though, I mean, Isak Paredes and Arozarena seem like a really good package. We've been talking about that since
I
last
like Isak
offseason.
Paredes.
I think they would
do.
both make a huge impact on our team.
Speaking of fleecing the Padres,
Yeah.
this is so out there. This is not happening. About Hassan Kim.
I love it, but
I love it. It can never happen.
no, the
They love
Padres
him
are not
so
gonna
much.
Yeah.
move him.
No.
That would be
Hell
great.
no.
I
God,
saw
that
it
would
on
be
the
the-
Reddit though.
I know. I saw that too. I was like,
This discussion, like, great question. We all love the idea, but they're not parting with that guy.
not happening. But
No,
that
he
would
has
be
too much
sick.
control, team control.
Yeah.
I
I would
just
be so happy.
Oh, and one thing we've talked about when we did our little like touch and base a week or two ago about how in baseball though you have to wait for the floodgates to open, and to be fair, nothing has happened yet. So as frustrated as I am that the Mariners like aren't involved in like an initial push. You got it. It's just the way the business goes. It's one deal.
Yeah.
It's one deal that goes through.
Well-
and then all of a sudden it's everywhere. Deal. Just no one wants to be the first.
Well, while you were on vacation, I was calling for the Mariners to break the dam. Be the first. Why not?
Someone's gotta do it.
If it's going to happen, why not go make it happen? There's no way they're not talking to other teams about their players already.
Mm-hmm.
Be serious. Go.
We have till the 30th, 20 days left. In the next 20 days, something's got to.
and I feel like it's
got to give.
And I feel like it's going to be the last 4 days.
Could
Well,
be.
look, we need to replace Jorge Polanco, Mitch
Yes.
Haniger, Victor Robles, maybe Canzone if he's still hurt. Bauman, Bazardo. Well, I guess one of them is probably gone because Santos is back, right? So we need 3 players. Basically, we need 3 players and a pitcher. That would be nice. So Rengifo, can we agree that we should get that guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Randy and Paredes.
Love it.
I'm cool. I like that one.
Love it.
That means Polanco's for sure gone. Mitch Haniger is gone. And that's 3 players that we could really use. And then adding another guy like a Brent Rooker might be huge. Or just going for a pitcher. Even Kyle Finnegan, Hunter Harvey, they're both on Washington, and they're really good this year. Michael Kopech, we could just go for him. 3 hitters and a pitcher would be great.
That changes everything.
It does. That changes a lot.
Just Rengifo, Randy and Paredes, and a reliever. That's 2 trades and a pitcher somewhere. You know what I mean? Maybe a pitcher can slide into one of these trades. Right now, I think Tampa Bay is going to be selling a little bit. They kind of have to, man.
Their
They're
division is so tough.
so tough. And they're 1 game under 500. They're 5.5 out of the wild card a week before the All-Star break. They're going to be sellers. I think we go get those guys now. I mean, what else? What else are we gonna do? If Vlad isn't on the market, we don't go get him. Luis Roberts strikes out a lot, but packs a lot of punch. That's kind of a high risk, high reward thing where he gets injured a lot too. I don't know if he can stay healthy. So, Rengifo, Arozarena, Paredes, and a pitcher or another hitter like Brent Rooker would be awesome. That's my dream.
It's a nice dream to have.
I'm thinking worst case scenario. I'm just trying to accept the fact that if the Mariners don't pull the trigger at the deadline, like they'll probably do something because it's Dipoto.
Well, yeah, they'll do
But-
just enough to keep us interested and
If you think I've been frustrated the last couple weeks, if we do not do shit on this trade deadline, I'm going nuclear. I'm gonna
Good.
lose it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like Eric Andre in here. I'm destroying the set. I'm ripping everything off the walls. You make a move, Dipoto. I'm talking to you right now. You make a fucking move.
I'll be here with you, Patrick.
Oh my God.
Anything marginal or less is a complete disappointment, and
Yes.
more of the same, and wasting what we've already built, and the window keeps getting pushed back farther and farther. Right now is the time to pull the trigger. I said it last offseason. We didn't do the big trades. We just did more of the same, like the same thing we did the year before. We tried to be excited and optimistic about it. Same thing happened as it did the year before, where the players we get struggle and struggle. They're older. They're over the hill. We don't need streaky old players. Sorry, old. I mean, I'm old now, I guess.
I'm old.
For the
But-
MLB age, if you're over 30 years old, you are on the decline. And if
Yes.
you're not, then you're a special talent. And we don't have those special
George Springer.
talents.
Still swinging a bat.
Dude,
Still running hard. That
Justin Turners, people like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't take another year, especially now. Our window right now is the best it's ever been with the early all-star game like lead, and even though we're kind of faltering, we're still 6 games over 500, 7 games over 500.
Yeah, I think 7
With
now.
losing 6 series in a row, and we're still 6 or 7 games over 500.
And a
Like,
couple games over Houston in the division. Somehow we're still in the lead.
It's crazy. The baseball gods are giving us a glimmer, and it's up to the Mariners front office to widen that light and let it all come in.
Put up a
And-
mirror, reflect it all about the room. We need to get some mirrors in this bitch.
Seriously, we need from the ending from dusk till dawn and just open up all of it, let the light come in and clear away all the bullshit. The Mariners need to make a move. I can't take another half-ass move. I can't take another goalpost move of oh, well, these guys are coming along. Give us another year. Give us another year. Fuck that, DePoto. This year, now, we need it. We're starving. The
We
Mariners
are.
fans we're just a crumb. Just give us a crumb. Just give us a playoff appearance. We're not asking to win the
Let
World
us
Series.
have cake.
We're
Come
not-
on.
We're not asking to win the World Series this year. We just want to get into the playoffs, and we have a realistic chance to do that.
The Mariners are the only team in MLB history to not make it to the World Series.
That is very true.
So, we're starving. We're starving. More of the same would just be another hit to our feels, our hearts, and I don't know, man. The vibes would change if we don't do enough because we've already gone through this for a couple of years. We've been talking about it for a couple of years, saying the same types of things. It's time to go big or go the fuck home. Like get DePoto and Scott out of here if we're not going to make those moves.
And depending on what DePoto does or doesn't do, just get Scott out of here at the end of the year. Honestly, I'm over
It's about
Scott.
time.
I'm over Scott.
One last thing. We ended up letting go our, director of baseball business?
Operations?
It was like business operations or some
Something like
shit. Yeah, the Katie
Griggs?
Griggs, yeah. She got hired by the Orioles.
Oh.
So whatever she was doing here, they liked. I don't know, or they like what she's about. And if the Orioles signed her, then I'm concerned with what's going on in the Mariners front office because the Orioles have been really good at building a team this last decade, or 5 years after they're tanking. They've rebuilt and have so much prospect capital. Like, why'd she go there? What's going on with the Mariners that made that happen? Because the business side of things doesn't seem it seems hidden, and it doesn't seem like they're trying to win. They're just trying to make money. So maybe she went somewhere where they're trying to win.
Maybe.
I feel like that's a bad I don't know. It's just a bad taste in my mouth.
I'm gonna look at it from an
Mariners.
optimistic
Like,
standpoint.
go Katie, but fuck the Mariners if they're
I'm
not going
thinking
for
maybe Katie didn't want the Mariners to spend money, and she wanted more profit. And Stanton was like, "No, this year we're actually gonna spend the money on the team instead of hat back."
There are two sides to this coin. True.
I don't know. I
We'll
wasn't there.
see.
I wasn't there. But maybe Stanton is like, "Oh, I'm actually opening up the pocketbooks instead of embezzling."
Yeah. So I'll go with the person willing to spend money.
I'm full of accusations today.
Allegedly.
Just
Allegedly.
Not even allegedly. Just hypothesis, just a
Yeah,
pondering.
allegedly.
Let's get out of here, boys.
Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here.
Hey, thank you all so much for listening, being a part of this. I'm so glad to be back and be here with these guys doing this week in and week out. It's so much fun. Glad you all could join us for another week. Like, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends, and we'll be back next week with more Mariners news. Thank you all, and
Go Mariners! The Mariners are winning 2-0 in the bottom of the fourth. Go Mariners! Go Mariners!